Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Black Cats TV. We're back. More transfer news, all different players, kind of, to previous videos. No Lucchini, I'll say right now. No Lorente, whatever that player's called, who, joined us and then didn't. I think there has been murmurings he might be going to West Ham anyway. And is there anyone else that we keep getting linked with? Garcia at Real Madrid? No, none of that. Actually, all different people at the moment. So we'll go through them one by one. But before we do, please hit the like and subscribe button. We're on about 3,350. So really do appreciate it. Really does help us out massively. So hit that like and subscribe button. Do it now. Then you don't have to do it again. Go. Right. Okay. So the first one that we have, if I get it up on here, is... Where are we at? There he is. Artem Dovbyk. Dovbyk is, I guess, how you say it. I'm sure they'll correct me in the comments for that one there. Ukrainian forward, and I know we shudder when we hear Ukrainian forwards because of, I was going to say Rusev, but that's wrestling. That's WWE, that one there. Rushin. Close enough. You can see where I got it wrong there. He had 2 goals in about 100 years for us there, and we chased him all that time. And then, yeah, wasn't very good here. But another Ukrainian we're looking at on here, 28 years old, 1.89 meters tall, so he's shorter than me, the short ass. 10 games this season, 2 goals, 1 assist, no cards. Doesn't say he's getting a lot of minutes at the moment. He does solely play as a striker, no other positions there. We can see, I think he's been, is that Midtjylland? Yeah, there's Midtjylland. And then we go through into, don't know how you say that one. That's probably a loan at Midtjylland again. And then right there, he went to Girona, where his money absolutely catapulted up there. And then he went, of course, to Roma. And his highest value has been about 35, and they think he's around 20 million euros. We'd have to see what they thought in that one. But if we have a look at his, here we are, there's his transfer. So they actually paid 35 for him at that moment. And then it was all these clubs in between. But if we look here, those 10 games, what's that? 162 minutes per goal, but only 323 minutes so far. So if we go over to his stats page here, so he has primarily played 14 games as a centre forward, 4 in the Europa League, but no goals in that one there, 1 assist. 14 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. So he sounds like an old school Sunderland striker with not many goals in there. And then this has been him this season in the Europa League. So 69 minutes versus Nice, 12 minutes versus Lille. And then Plazen, 74 minutes, 86 minutes against Rangers, where he did get an assist, and then didn't play against Midtjylland or Celtic due to an injury. And then back here, looks to be injured currently. So he does definitely seem like a Sunderland target there. We only ever go for the injured ones, actually, it seems like. So, here we are, 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 24, 60, 60 again, 35, 40. So he's not a starter for them. So I wonder if we're thinking we can pick him up on the cheap because he's not a player and he's looking for first team football. He has played 40 games for Ukraine and scored 11 goals for them. So that's not a bad record for the Ukraine national side there. Where is his goals here against Verona and Parma? Salisu, of course, is the one I think that Lorente plays for, who we mentioned before. But, I do think we need some other attacking options, more likely because Mayenda might be making way, is what we think, and I'll talk about that in another video there as well. But I don't know. He's not prolific. Brobby hasn't been for reasons, of course, recently, and Isidor's not either. But it's more the creativity I feel we need. I feel like if we got the ball to the strikers in these better positions, they can score. Brobby's shown that striker's instinct with his 2 goals that he's got this season. Look, the sort of semi-sideways bicycle kick against Arsenal and just a header, not a free header as well, just a really simple header against Bournemouth. He can clearly do it if we get the ball to him, and it really does help us get out and get up the pitch when he holds it up there. Isidore with his ones on the transitions or the quick turnarounds have been really good for us as well. But have we actually ever had a sustained period where we're giving the ball to the striker to get them to score? Probably not. So, it's a good player, I think, if especially if he can come and he's not injured, which is a worry because he's been injured for the last however many games there. What was that player, Jaden Danza, we got last season, and we just went, oh, he's injured. Yeah, we'll have him. So on to the next one is Ruben Vargas from Sevilla, who keeps getting linked with us here. 12 appearances this season, 3 goals, 4 assists, 1 yellow card. can play anywhere across the sort of number 10 and either wing. He's played 58 games for Switzerland, scored 11 goals. Agent Granit Xhaka, paging Agent Granit Xhaka. Looks like he's had a bit of an upturn at one point in his career with how much money he was on, then it sort of lowered again, and then it's sort of spiking up a bit more recently with how he's playing with Sevilla at the moment. 1.79, so he's a slight player there. And this is his transfers there, 4 million in 7 minutes. So he's not hugely expensive. 871 minutes played so far this season. Let's have a look into how that's broken down for him. So here we go. So 57, 78, 79. We just come back from an injury on that first one there. So he plays a majority against, didn't play a lot in this game here, but then 70, 70. So a bit like how, and then 90s up here, a bit like how we use our wingers at the moment anyway. They tend to get about 60 to 70 minutes before we rotate it round, because I think we ask a lot of them defensively, so they're probably shattered and it's good to put on fresh legs. Obviously got injured. Another injured player still injured at the moment. This is definitely a buy for Sunderland there. Must have got injured here against Espanyol and then sat out the remaining games. And then in the Copa del Rey, one appearance for 10 minutes, and then has been injured ever since that one there. So yeah, 6 games as a left winger, 1 goal, 3 as a right winger. Right winger is an area I would like to see us go for. I think Talby on the left is really good. I do like Traore. I think Traore is really good as well, but are we going to keep him forever? Probably not. But we need some creativity on the wing, and he's been doing it for, if we look there, 161 appearances for Augsburg, 23 goals and 19 assists. Even for, where's Switzerland down here, 58 and 11. It's a pretty good return for him there. And how many does that say assists? It does not. So, and if you can get him for about that price, that's the price we picked up like Roofs and Mukiele and Alderete for. So it's been a good sort of price mark for us, really. I'd be interested. I would be interested. But I do think the player we should be going for, there's a lot of transfer talk about him, potentially looking abroad, potentially looking into the Premier League, other teams as well. It might be a loan. I don't think we'd be able to get him permanently, but might be a bit pie in the sky. But Oscar Bobb from Man City, we were linked with him in the summer, I think, on a loan, but obviously I think they decided they were going to keep him. Just 9 appearances this season with 1 assist, but for Norway, 16 appearances, 2 goals. Again, he plays around the front 3 there, so on the wings and as a number 10. Has made his international debut for Norway. His value is incredibly high because he's only 22 years of age. So that, you've got your sell on. He meets our sort of criteria of the younger players. But even if we look into his stats for this season, there's not going to be many. But Champions League, 10 minutes against Napoli, benched against Monaco, 18 minutes against Villarreal, benched against Dortmund, 45 against Leverkusen, benched against Real Madrid. And then international friendlies, he played both against Finland and New Zealand. And then in the Premier League, 1 assist on the opening day against Wolves, played the full game, 75 minutes against Spurs, 90 minutes against Brighton. And then after that, 3 minutes against United on the bench versus Arsenal, 28, 76, 31, 61. Not in the squad, on the bench, 13 minutes against Newcastle, that squad. So he's not playing. I think it's one we could be very cheeky for. He has played all these games in the EFL Cup, I will say. We could be really cheeky and ask for a loan option here. He has primarily played as a right winger, I think it says up here. Yeah, 9 games there for, and I think that's a place, like we said before, with Vargas that we're looking at. And with that, it's low risk. Or we could also, there was that agreement where we had with Gio earlier on in the season about that he has to play a certain amount of minutes. I'm not opposed to that with a player of his quality, that he has to play there because he's very good. We saw his goal a couple of years ago against Newcastle, how quick his feet are and getting around. I think a good run of games for him will show what a quality player he is. It'd be great if we could also get like an obligation or an option on him, but it's a bit pie in the sky. I've just seen him being linked with leaving, and I've not seen any links to Sunderland apart from in the summer, but it would be an absolute steal if we could get him, whether it be on loan or permanent. That would be fantastic. And it's the type of player, I think, if KLD wants us to get top 10, which he said against Everton, that's who you're going to have to look at, I'm afraid. You can't be going, Traore's been really good so far and only cost us, 2 to 3 million. And for a year or two, that was really good. But, this is the sort of next level up I think, really. And I think with the stewardship of Xhaka in the team there and Nordi behind him, I think we could really do good things. So it's unrealistic, I know, but I'd really love to see us go for him. Really would. Don't see it happening, but stranger things have happened. Who'd have said we'd have got Xhaka at the start of the season? The other one is a bit of a cheat code. He already plays for us, but we definitely should make it permanent, which is Geertruida or Geertruida, however you say it there. I think he's been fantastic for us. 13 appearances, 50% of the minutes played there. This says that he's played right centre back, left centre back, and right back. He's actually played as a number 6 for us as well. He's played in central midfield. He definitely did against Nottingham Forest when he came on. He definitely did against Brighton. That he's sort of appearing in those sort of positions. He's a regular player for the Netherlands side. I do think we have an option to buy, a bit like we did with Isidore in the winter transfer window last year, where I think we do it sooner rather than later, just because I don't want them to bump the price up at the end of the season. I think he's fantastic, and it's great to have a utility player. He seems like an absolute vibe around the ground. If you watch any of those, videos of the club in the background, the training videos or anything like that, he always seems to be having a laugh and playing around there. A bit like Samed did last season, and I think he tends to fit that sort of profile. And I think we definitely need him. But yeah, 5 games at centre back for us. This says 1 game as a defensive midfielder, which just isn't true. He's played 2 or 3 there, and a game at right back as well. I think he definitely should be trying to make that one permanent. I think he's been fantastic. But you'd have to let me know what you think there. But I think he's been unreal. Doesn't even list the games defensive. Oh, there, defensive midfield against Brighton. He was definitely, when he came on against Forest, he was definitely that. Absolutely was there. And then, of course, when Reynaldo and Alderete were having their spells out, he definitely did come in there. But, he's not, it doesn't seem like he's bitch and moaned about his minutes. He only had a couple at the start, and then he had 31 against Forest, 11 against United, 14 against Wolves, and then it was 90, 90, 87, 90. And then against Bournemouth, 4, Liverpool, 11, 90 against City. On the bench against Newcastle, didn't come on, but he didn't need to. It was an easy win. And then he's played the full 90 against Brighton, and I expect him to play the full 90 against Leeds. So, yeah, that's our 4. Bit of a whistle-stop tour through them and things like that there. If we have a look here, this is the... Who's this one? This is the fan cast talking about Vargas and Dovbyk, and there we are against Isidore. As you can see, Isidore's expected goals is higher, but when you're playing 3 times as many minutes, you would expect that way there as well. And when we look up here to Vargas, number of targets includes Seville's Ruben Vargas. It'd be good. Be really good if we could do it there. I was just having a read through some of these, and that's where I brought up their stats from there as well. Does it say anything more about them? It just says about Isidore probably not being a consistent scorer, which is fair. It really is. I do think he's a good striker for us and a good option, but is he going to be, leading the line the full season? Probably not. So we need to look for the other options, don't we? So let me know what you think in the comments, though, if you would have any of them. I think for me, we definitely need to make Geertruida permanent. I'd really love us to see us go for Oscar Bobb. I'm not sold on the striker. He probably would be good. It's the service of getting it to him. It's not the strikers. It's not Brobby. It's not Issa. It's not even Mayenda. It's getting the ball to them to score. We don't create a lot of chances. So a player like Bob or Vargas would be really beneficial for the strikers, and I think we'd see a lot more output from the strikers there. But again, let me know what you think, and we'll see you all in the next video. So take care, everyone, and goodbye now.